morning, everyone. May the 4th be with you. So, Saturday morning, just after 7 AM, long run, hopefully about 18k this morning. It was a good rest day, slept well last night, resting heart rate down to 40 BPM, so that's really about as low as I get, but getting down there kind of is a good indication for me that I am well rested. Yeah, body battery up to 100 overnight, and so let's see how it goes. I mean, this week was really a deload week where I've not done quite as much as last week, so hopefully I've got plenty in me for doing this. Right, but I'm currently 4.5k in. I've managed to keep my heart rate under 140 all the time, which was really the aim for most of the day. It's grey and misty, there's no way I'm going to overheat, and no sunglasses required. So yeah, cardiovascularly, I'm feeling in a good place. The thing I need to just be watching out for is basically any muscle skeletal issues, so any niggles, because I really don't want to be making any problems worse. This is one of my favourite little stretches, this bit. Heart rate currently 136. Again, not really worried about pace, although I'm doing about 5-6 minutes a kilometre, 5 to 6 minutes. But yeah, really just about the distance, keeping the heart rate down and not causing any major pain that's going to take a while to recover from. So yeah, speed's not really a priority for me at the minute. And I never really run with anyone, or I'm not really doing any events, and don't feel particularly motivated to either. I do occasionally look at Strava segments just to give myself a bit of a fresh challenge. So the path we're currently on is part of a 1 mile segment. I think I'm second or third all-time fastest on it. So yeah, I have aspirations to be the quickest. Because yeah, it's a nice little segment, but it just gives me a bit of variety for intervals. Because I do need to get, as well as the heart rate staying down, I do certainly need to have sessions where it's getting a bit higher. So I thought it'd be good to talk a bit more about why I started running. So I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I started running, well, just over 2 years ago now. I'd gone out for a bike ride, just loved it, and kind of really recognised I really wasn't as fit as I should be. So yeah, decided that running would be a good way to get me there. And I thought, yeah, I'd do 5Ks a couple of times a week, and it'll that'll be enough. It won't take too much time out of my day. And well, I don't think I've really got the interest in running further than 5k. So yeah, so it's about fitness. And I guess what is fitness? Well, for me, I mean, hill walking and mountaineering, well, I would probably consider my sort of major passion, although we don't really do as much as we would like. So I wanted to be fit to do that better. And as the kids grew up, you know, they're getting fitter and they'll be able to do more. So, you know, I wanted to be able to stretch them, but I needed to be able to stretch myself too. So, definite sort of fitness for that. And so, you know, I think there's probably a general trend as you get older that you just lose a little bit of your aerobic capacity, and certainly you lose a little bit of lean muscle mass. I mean, there's an inevitability about that. I'll not be able to really do much about that. Your testosterone levels drop as you get older, and yeah, it's much more difficult to build and keep muscle. Another one of my motivations to start to run was a bit of weight loss. So it was 46, and yeah, there was definitely some middle-age spread going on. Yeah, I was 86, just over 86 kilos. I'm 180 centimetres high, or in old money, which is about 5'11". So, yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was that bad, but I certainly thought I was carrying more fat than it should. So, yeah, losing weight was definitely part of it. And I have to say, you know, I was able to lose a fair amount relatively quickly. But I guess, as we all know, keeping it off can be much more difficult than having that initial loss. And it has gone up and down, you know, a bit in the 2 years since. Never back up to that sort of 86 mark. But yeah, I mean, when I had the injury, Achilles injury, which I got in Halloween last year, and then I had sort of 3 months off running. Yeah, I certainly put on a bit over Christmas, and part of that was I wasn't exercising, but I have to say part of it was I was feeling a bit down, the fact I wasn't able to run and do what I wanted to do. So, you know, I think sometimes we all take solace in food. It can be very comforting. I do have a sweet tooth. So yeah, but so as of this morning, my weight is 71.4 kilos. So yeah, about 15 kilos down than a couple of years ago. And to be honest, yeah, I feel much happier at this weight. I'll share some pictures of what it was like kind of before, and actually looking back, yeah, I really see quite a difference. But you know, I look back at those pictures and I think that is the face of complacency. That is the face of just yeah, just letting it happen. And I look now, and it's the face of purpose, the face of deliberate action, which I like. You know, I very much believe in a internal locus of control. We all are the major contributor to our own destiny. So, yeah, I feel much more like I own my own body these days. And that probably leads nicely into why I'm still running. So maybe you can understand why I started running. But I've kept going, and I've gone beyond the 5k, considerably beyond the 5k. I now have aspirations to go to, well, 80k, 50 miles. And that sense of purpose and ownership of your body and experience, and not just complacently letting middle age happen with adding a few pounds every year, or in metric, sorry, adding a kilo or so every year, and fitness levels dropping gradually every year, and my toes getting further away. Yeah, that's not for me. It's that sense of ownership and kind of, well, it's like having a plan, you know, like having a goal. So there's that. But then there's just the just the pleasure of running. So I've been out here by myself, and you know, heart rate currently 135, so well under control. 5.5 minute kilometers, you know, so not a bad pace, but just moving through the environment at a reasonable pace, and just, yeah, the motion, I guess it's the runner's high. As YouTuber Mark Lewis says, you know, he aims to be above average, and I think given, you know, all the stats around the state of the nation's health, yeah, I would definitely like to be better than average. But as they say, comparison is the thief of joy, and I really don't compare myself to anyone else. I've close to zero motivation to race. I just do it for the personal challenge and just feel incremental benefits. So, and I'm getting fitter and better, and it's great to see those numbers improving. And a big part of my motivation is the numbers. You know, I'm numerically stats driven, and when it comes to work and optimizing websites, a lot of that is driven by data. It's not opinion. So I have to say, probably one of the biggest motivators and things that have really helped me stick at running and get better and do more has been this, my Garmin. And I'm not saying you have to have a Garmin, but a fitness tracker, and just being able to see over a long period of time the incremental growth in your fitness, I find is a great motivation. Because, you shouldn't be trying to go from 0 to hero overnight. That's a great way to break your body. But just the, showing up and just doing a little bit more. And, starting a couch to 5k might be right for you. You don't need to run the whole way. There's no shame in walking. Yeah, so little steep hills like this, I'm just gonna walk. Keeping my heart rate down. Currently still 136. I don't think I've gone, I might have briefly touched 140, but yeah. But it feels good. This feeling that, I started by thinking, yeah, long distance running, that's not for me. I'm not gonna be able to do that. I don't have the fitness, I don't have patience, motivation, but it comes over time. I think one of the big changes actually was when I came to realise, through reading, research, speaking to friends and colleagues who ran, that there's a saying in running, run slow to run fast. So if you want to get better at, or faster, better is a very subjective word, if you want to get faster at running a distance, well, go out and run double that distance but slower. So I started doing that. I started dropping my pace, and that's when I actually really started enjoying the running a lot more. When I was just doing 5k, God, I was going out and I was going out hard every time. I was coming back like on my hands and knees, and so I was getting faster, and I was losing weight, and I was definitely getting fitter, but boy, it was hard work. And then when I started lengthening the distance and dropping the pace, that's when I really started to enjoy the running. And being able to get up here, so this is Dean Plantation, and we often come up here as a family just for a bit of walking around. There's lovely woods. Being able to run here from the house is great. So another thing I like about running is the simplicity of it. And I think that's why I don't really want to race, certainly not at this stage. There's no rules to what I do. Just get my shoes on and head out the door. I've got a few bits and pieces of kit, but it really doesn't take that much. Compare that to the cost of mountain biking, road biking, skiing, even climbing. Then running's simple, easy. The only thing that really needs maintained is me. So, that just heading out the door and just going. And we're really lucky to have just some lovely little areas not far from the house. Nothing too strict. Well, there's no sign of the weather improving. It hasn't got any worse, it just hasn't really done anything. But it's alright. keeping me cool. Heart rate's still pretty good, about 130. We're just under 11k in, so very much halfway point. I'm well past that. Legs are feeling pretty good. Yeah. Occasional little things letting me know that they're there, so yeah. Occasional little twinge in glutes and just outside of the right knee, but really nothing to write home about, which is great. I don't mind getting home and it being a little bit sore, but yeah, as long as I feel it's what I can recover from. Current pace 5:25 a kilometre. Okay, so that's the run done. 18.5k, 147, which just makes it a pace of 5:48. Average heart rate 131, so actually not too bad, and it was really only in the last couple of miles that my heart rate went up, sort of beyond the 140 mark. 87% of the time in sub 140, which was good. Yeah, burnt 1,012 calories. Oh, sorry, 1,112 calories. Did the distance I wanted. Generally kept the heart rate pace. The only concern was the knee issue sort of towards the end. And really interesting that the sort of picking up the pace was able to make it go away, really. I've come back home and I can't really feel any issue in my knee. So yeah, there's something about stride length going on that I really need to kind of get my head around. I'm just not quite sure how I do a longer stride but slower. I haven't quite got my head around that. So yeah, but obviously, you know, working on strength and conditioning will help it anyway. So yeah, so now it's a bit of a cool down, some static stretching, mobility. Might do some sort of Dynaband type exercises on the legs just to sort of ruin my hip flexors a little bit more, and yeah, just while I'm warmed up from the run, just put a wee bit extra load in them, and then have a bit of a restful afternoon, so, and keep the nutrition right. Okay, have a good weekend everyone. Bye now.